Hey guys, today we're going to be working with uh, complete the table and then graph the function. So function is a new word we're going to be learning about. So the word function basically means something that works. Okay? And I just realized I'm not showing you what I'm supposed to be showing you. Let me change that. Okay, back to my camera. There you go. The word function means something that works, right? For example, if I have 2 is equal to 1 plus x, we have to decide if which one of these numbers makes this equation of function. So something that works, because all we're looking for are true statements. And just kind of how we talked about the no solution, infinite solution, one solution thing, a true statement usually looks like this. 2 is equal to 2 because 2 does equal 2. 5 is equal to 5. 8 is equal to 8. 10 is equal to 10. So these are all true statements. Okay? And so now I'm going to test which one of these equations, or actually,
Bro, my my headset turned off. 1 second.
hello, is it working? My headset turned off. That's kind of crazy. Let me make sure. Yeah, okay, we're good. Yeah, my headset turned off. That was weird. Anyways, going back to this, we're going to check which x is a function of this equation. So I'm going to try the first one. We're going to plug in, and we're going to do what it tells us. X is 1. So I'm going to substitute, right? We talked about that word a lot. Substitute. And just a refresher, I know you hear it a million times, but it means you're replacing a letter with a number. So we're going to put this number 1 where the x is, and it's right here. So 2 equals 1 plus, replace the x with the 1 right there. And we're going to combine like terms, 1 plus 1, because they are like terms, you get 2. So now I have 2 equals 2. Is that a true statement? And the answer is yes, that's a true statement. Okay. And that would be my answer, x equals 1. Because if I put in 2 in there, I'll just show you really fast. 2 equals 1 plus substitute. Put the 2 where the x was. It was right there. 2. You get 2 equals 3. So that wouldn't work. That's no bueno. If you don't know Spanish, it means not good. Okay, and the next one is 3. If I plug that into x, you get 2 is equal to 1 plus 3. And you get 2 equals 4. That's also a false statement. That's no good. So only x equals 1 is a function. Okay. Now, this is where kind of how we just talked about it a little bit. Here is the more advanced version of it. We're going to look at a t-chart. Let me pull it up again. There we are. So now we're going to look at this t-chart right here. Okay. And it says complete the table and then graph the function. We have y equals 2x. Here, this is our first equation I'm working with. So when I look at this, right, let me move my camera really fast. When I look at this, I'm going to use this. My equation is y equals 2x. And I have all these blank spots right here. And what am I supposed to do with these blank spots? I don't have any information, right? So what you do is you fill out the information and you use the information given to you. What I do know is this column right here is labeled x's. So x is equal to 0 on my first one. So when x is 0, we need to figure out what the y is. So I'm going to use that information I just got. What number was x? 0. So I go to my equation right here. I'm going to substitute the x, and I'll put it in black, and we're going to put a 0 here. And the reason why I put it in parentheses is because the 2 and x are next to each other. There's no plus sign, there's no minus sign, so that means they're multiplying. So it's kind of like distributing, like draw your rainbow. 2 times 0 is equal to 0, so that's your first number. You put a 0 here. And how do I know that? Because look, y equals 0, right? So 2 times 0 is 0. It tells me y is 0. So when x is 0, y is 0. Okay, oh, that kind of makes sense. But what about my next one? What do I do? Well, it's kind of the same thing, right? We had x right here. I'll leave it right here. So here's my original equation. We got to keep using this equation. Oops, we got to keep using that equation up there. If over and over again for all these numbers. And some people are gifted at math, so you can probably do the rest in your head. But I'm just going to go slow here just so you can understand the concept. So this time I'm reading it, and it says x is the number 1. How do I know it's x? Because it's under the x column. These all belong to each other. So let's see what y is. So we're trying to figure out this part. Let's see what y is when x is the number 1. Okay? Let me erase all this extra stuff. Don't need it. Okay, so I'm going to replace this letter x again with 1. And how do I know? Because x told me it's 1. So y equals 2, put it in parentheses, and 1. And so we distribute. 2 times 1 is 2. So we get y is equal to 2. Okay, so what number do I put over here? You put a 2. And how do I know that? Because it just told me. Y equals 2. Okay? But this only is 2 with x is 1. You guys see how they kind of partner up with each other? 0, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, last one. I'm going to plug in 4. I'm going to go a little faster here. So we substitute the letter x right here with the number 4. 2 times 4 is 8. So y this time was 8. Okay. Oops. Now, how do I know these are correct? Well, this is where we go back to where I was talking about with the camera, right? At least my little dot cam. And let me point this thing back over here really fast and change the view over here. And there we are. Okay, so right here, right? And I'm going to write down the t-chart on paper just so you can see what I'm looking at. So y equals 2x was in the box, right? We had an x and y column on a t-chart. And we have 0, 0, 1 and 2, and 4 and 8. That's what I had on the iExcel. So the reason why this works is because now I know my x's and my y's. So believe it or not, we can substitute both to see if it's the right answer. So if I have y equals 2x right here, that's where the equation is. If x is 0, then y should be 0. So let's test it. I'm going to substitute the x with 0. So 2 times 0 right here. And I'm going to substitute the y with the 0. And where was the y? It was right here. So I'm replacing this y, putting a 0 right here. And why did I do that? Because it told me y is 0 when x is 0. Now let's see if it's a true or false statement. 2 times 0 is 0, and I get 0 is equal to 0. And since that's a true statement, this checks off. Test the next one. I'll write my equation again. X is 1 this time, so we're going to put a 1 where the x was by substituting, and y is 2 this time. And the reason why I'm using these two numbers is because they're across from each other. Okay? So I get 2 times 1, so 2 is equal to 2. That is a true statement again. You guys see how that kind of works now? You're looking for true statements to check your work. When you get pretty good at this, you don't have to do this last step because some people are just really good at math. But if I'm not the best at math, you know, taking my time and double checking is always worth it. Okay, because I'd rather have a right answer than a wrong answer, even though it takes me 2 more minutes. And let's put y equals 2x on the last one. Okay, and for for x, it's a 4 right here. And then I'm going to put an 8 for y. 2 times 4 is 8, and another true statement. You guys see how that kind of works now? So whenever you plug in these guys into your equation by substituting, plug in means substitute, you just get a bunch of true statements. And this is why we call it a function. Because imagine this was a factory machine. You just put all the parts that it needed for it to work. Okay? So good job there. Now I'm going to go back to the iExcel. And now it wants me to graph this. So here's the easy part. You see all these numbers that you just did? Those are literally just coordinates. Your first point right here is 0, 0. So guess what? You put a point at 0, 0. The next one is 1 and 2. So you go to the coordinates 1 and 2. So remember, x is horizontal, like this, right? Horizontal means left to right. So you go to 1 to 2, and you graphed it. But you can also just graph this equation. Let's be honest. It told you the whole time, 2x. Okay? Because I went up 2 and over 1. Because like I started at 0, 0. And the reason why I started at 0, 0, because there's no y-intercept. There's no plus 1, no plus 2. If you have no pluses, always start at 0. Okay? And let's make it a little bit more difficult now. Okay, ooh, I got a fraction. Okay? I don't want to scare you guys yet with fractions. We'll get to fractions soon, I promise. There we go. Easy one. Y equals x plus 6. So I got y is equal to x plus 6. That's my new equation. I'm going to go faster this time. My first number is 0, so let's plug that in. I'm going to just put it below here this time. And I'm not going to multiply it. There's a plus symbol blocking it, so no need to multiply this time. So we get y is equal to 0 plus 6, and that is equal to 6. So y is the number 6. So I put that right there. Next one, the x is 2. So let's put y equals 2 plus 6, and that is equal to 8. So you put an 8 right here. And then the last one is 4, so let's plug in a 4, right? I'm going to put 4 for x, and 4 plus 6 is 10, so y is equal to 10. So that's how I fill that out, and I'm going to plot these points. So my y-intercept is 6, and look at the x is 0, right? You see that 6 right there? So you got two ways to tell what your y-intercept was. And y-intercept means starting on the y-axis, where you start here, your first point. And my next point would be 2 and 8. So I go to the 2, and I go to the 8. As you can see right here, it told me my slope was 1. There's an invisible 1 in front of there, right? Up 1 over 1 on the line. Up 1 over 1 on the line. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Okay. Now this one. Ooh, we got negatives. Okay. This is why we're learning negatives in class. We have to be so comfortable with those. And it doesn't matter. Okay. Negatives will be in your real life every single day. So we cannot be afraid of them. Because you'll have negatives in your bank account. So the nice thing is I can kind of just plot this already. I'm going to go ahead and cheat. So my y-intercept is 7. My slope is up 1 over 1. And there it is. But now let's fill out the t-chart. I'm going to use my equation again. Okay? Let's see here. We're going to plug in a negative 4 to my x because it told me right here. So y is equal to negative 4 plus 7. And when I add those, I got 4 negatives and 7 positives. When they fight, he dies, he dies, he goes away, he's gone, he's eliminated, he's eliminated. I'm left with 3 positives. That's the winner. The positives win, so y equals 3 right here. Okay, next one. I'll use this one in black. We got negative 3. We put negative 3 for x. And I'm going to stop putting the y equals just to go a little faster. Negative 3 plus 7 is a positive 4. So that's what y equals for negative 3. Next one is negative 1. Negative 1 plus 7. We substituted really quick, I know. And that's going to be equal to 6. And the last one is number 2. We go y equals 2 plus 7. And that's equal to 9. And you see how that works? So, right here, by plugging these into my equation, I'm able to figure out the coordinates. And I don't know if you know this either, but I want you to look at this line right here. These are all just coordinates on the graph. Like negative 4 and 3, where's that at? Negative 4 and positive 3, right there, on the line. Next one, negative 3 and 4. Negative 3 and 4 on the line. 2 and 9. 2 and up here is 9. It's on the line again. Okay. You guys see how the t-chart and the equation and the line are all just connected with one another? They're kind of like one giant big factory. They all just work together somehow. Okay. And they make a bunch of true statements. Okay. This one's kind of... This is interesting, right? Y equals 8. Here's a life hack. It's just 0 every time. There's no X. You can't plug in anything, so just 0. And watch, I'll hit submit. Incomplete answer. Oh, I didn't do it. Okay, y equals 8. That means it's going to cross the y-axis at 8 forever, infinitely, so I just make a line across it. Okay, like that. See, incorrect. They're all 8. Oh my gosh, look at that. I made a mistake. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Don't freak out when you make mistakes, because I've been teaching this for 7 years and I made a mistake. And I just realized something. I'm so... oh my gosh. Okay, it just told me up here, y is 8. So I guess that applies for everything. And I guess that makes sense, because if I look at these coordinates, -3 and 8, -3 and 8 is on the line. -6 and 8, I'm sorry, +6 and 8, let's see, +6 and 8, it's on the line. 7 and 8, it's on the line. You learn something new every day, don't you guys? Okay, so this one, yet again, hopefully you see the trend by now. I don't want to make this video too long and bore you, but this will be the last one, I promise. Let's go y equals x plus 2. We're going to plug him in to the x. -10 plus 2 now, right, is a -8. There's more negatives, right? But they lost 2 guys in the battle. -9, plug it in. -9 plus 2. What do you get? You get a -7. There's 7 guys who left after the battle. -1 plus 2. The winner is the positives by 1. The last one, 5 plus 2. And now you get 7. So that's how you do that. And let's just graph this. There's 2 ways you can graph it. You can graph it by the equation, or you can look at your hard work and use these coordinates. I'll use these coordinates. So -10 and 8. So -10 and -8 is right there. -9. Let's do 5 and 7. Watch this. +5 and 7. Cool. And there's your line. Let's see if it works. Let's see. My y-intercept was +2. It says right here. Oh, +2. Good. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Over and over and over again. That's the pattern of the line. So there you go. Okay. So that's how you check your functions. Now, this one's a little bit of the same, I believe. Let me see. Let me make this more difficult. Okay. It's the same thing. Look. Right here. So both these assignments that you're going to do right here, you should be good. But the only difference is it switches the letters on you. I'm just noticing that right now. So don't let these letters trick you right here. It's the same concept, because look at your equation. H is equal to 10W minus 7. Let's see, I told you all the W's right here, but did it tell you these H's? So you got to figure it out, right? Let's see here. So let's plug in 3 for W. So 10 times 3 minus 7. I put in parentheses, and if they're next to each other, there's no symbol. We're going to multiply it, okay? So H, 10 times 3 is 30, minus 7 is 23. So that's what I put right here. Next one, let's put a 6 right there. 10 times 6 is 60, minus 7 is 53. So I put a 53 right here. And nice thing is you can use a calculator on this, right? Even on the state test, which is nice. Put a 7 right here. 10 times 7 is 70, minus 7 is 63. And there's your answers. Just like that. Okay. Thank you for watching. And you guys do me a favor. Okay. Give me $10 million. No, I'm just kidding. Low-key not kidding. Ha ha ha. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, you guys have a good day and have a good life. I don't know.